How many? How many? How many? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, what did I get up to?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of How Many. I am your host, Jesse Jackson. I am your host, Junior Lopez, otherwise known as Mexican Junior, and we are hosting a very special episode because for the past 5 years, my sister has been begging us to be on an episode of How Many, and now is her chance to shine. She is going to be doing the Bands of Your Life questionnaire, and she is going to regale us with all of her expert opinions because she used to work at a music store. And with me today to experience all of my sister's lovely choices is Bob Bland, another host of How Many, and former special guest host David Miller. David is another music expert as well. His father was actually a DJ. So he will be able to provide lots of insight, especially since none of them are probably going to be country related. And that's what Millermun's area of expertise is. So I'm looking forward to seeing the faces on David as he's trying to figure out who my sister is talking about.
The blank look of, I don't know who that is.
Well, it's all Tim McGraw.
Is Tim McGraw considered red dirt?
That's a good shtick. That's a good shtick.
So Stephanie, my sister of however old you are, I don't even remember when your birthday is. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your musical background, and why you wanted to be a guest on How Many.
Well, I did work at a record store, like you said, for about 6 years.
Multiple record stores.
Well, it was the same company, just different buildings. One of them was the old Selena building.
Is that where Yolanda Saldivar shot Selena?
What about the missing records?
I don't know where they are, but I'll find them. I will, and I'll show you.
You know, it's funny because when I went for the interview, that's exactly what he said. He said, I like to think that this is the same seat that Yolanda Saldivar contemplated killing Selena. It was that awkward pause.
So Selena Ghost is haunting that CD exchange that you worked at?
I think she is. I would vacuum and then in the background, Bitty Bitty Bum Bum would just start playing.
Junior, is Yolanda Saldivar the Mexican Mark David Chapman?
Yes. She is the most high profile female hitman of our time.
Of Mexican hitman. I mean, musical hitman.
So my sister was basically living high fidelity in real life. She was being a music snob at all of the CD exchanges that she was at. She was the Jack Black of CD exchange.
What's your problem?
Do you even know your daughter? There's no way she likes that song. Oh, is she in a coma?
Okay, now let's get to the questionnaire because Bob is too cheap to have a professional Zoom account. So we need to make this quick.
I'm unemployed. What do you expect out of me?
Starting with, what band do you hate and why?
Okay, so the band that I hate is purely based on concert going experiences. So I had a really bad run-in with the lead singer from Disturbed. And I have this personal vendetta that I've carried throughout the rest of my life. So I'm going to go with Disturbed.
So you're saying your experience with them was very stupefied?
Yeah.
How many do they have?
They have like
I think
3,
that was
right?
their main hit.
Yeah, they have Stupefy, and what was their other big hit? About 10,000 Fists. Does 10,000 Fists count?
I
You don't even know that one, do you?
I don't
You went
even
to
know.
you
I
went
just
to their
hate them.
concert, and
Well, it was
you had
actually-
no idea
Is
what
that why the
songs
lead
they
singer
had.
raged up at her because she didn't know
that's
enough
why
of
the
their
lead
hits?
singer
Yeah.
punched her in the stomach because she didn't know any of their songs.
Well, you patted me on the head, which I feel is the same. It was condescending and rude.
What did you say to him before this head patting happened?
Well, it was a Godsmack Static X concert, and he was the opener. They weren't really known at the time, and he came out in the audience and was shaking hands. And I think I just said, "Hey, nice set," and I reached out my hand and he patted me on the head. And ever since then, I had this vendetta against him.
Does Godsmack have more than Disturbed?
See, I don't know any Disturbed or Godsmack or Stained or any of that stuff.
Like Godsmack has probably like 6 or 7 good songs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the song from the Scorpion King movie, and is that
House Mina is the
I'm
Scorpion King.
alive for you. I'm awake, swallowing you. I'm alive for you. I'm awake, swallowing you. That's probably their
I think
biggest hit, right?
It was a recruiting song too, isn't it? A Marines. Or
I think the
something?
Army had a commercial that featured that song, I'm alive, as somebody's driving a tank and blowing up somebody's house. I'm awake.
Well, technically, they were alive at the time.
Look into their catalog, Bob. Millerman,
All
do
right.
you have any experience with Godsmack or Disturbed?
I do not. I've heard those names, but I do not know that.
Yeah,
music.
they sound like Hot Topic band.
Well, thank you
That-
for
that
all
was-
the
that was
terrific
good
insight,
time.
you two. So let's move on from that terrible in-person experience and hear about the next person that dissed you at a concert. What band do you think is overrated?
So, is it cheating if I go for a whole genre?
Not necessarily. We could probably pinpoint one specific band once you give us the genre.
So, it would be 80s hair metal.
So,
I'm
like,
sorry, but like all of Motley
Crue,
Poison.
yeah,
Guns N' Roses.
Twisted Sister, any of that kind of.
Wow. You're lucky
Wham.
that Gary is not here. He would be so raged up at you right now. That is basically the entire soundtrack of his life.
You know, I'm kind of with her, and that stuff didn't age very well. It was fun at the time, but now it's kind of like,
You've turned on Def Leppard?
Def Leppard was kind of before hair metal. They ended up being hair metal, but they were around before it got to be hair metal. Like same with Motley Crue.
I think there's bands that lumped into it that I'm not considering, like Iron Maiden. I don't really consider that. I think it's more of like the
Poison,
corny kind of
Slaughter, Warrant, all
so
that
like
crap.
Cinderella, like all the bands that wore makeup, are those the ones that you're really pinpointing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
She's
could
talking
see-
about the bands that came around like in the mid 80s. Like even Kiss kind of changed their look to be kind of with the hair metal scene when it was popular.
When they took their makeup off,
Yes.
which was kind of a contradiction because that's what everybody was doing, was putting their makeup on.
And all the scarves. That was part of the look.
Which is interesting because that is probably their best time period. Kiss
No,
was when they
70s
took
Kiss
the when they took
was
the
way
makeup
better.
off. Okay, so that is very disappointing because I love hair metal and I love all things 80s. So
That's probably why she hates it, because you like it so much.
I don't think so. I don't think
No,
we grew up
I
enough.
don't really remember you playing a lot.
Yeah, I was
of-
gonna say we didn't really spend enough time together for me to have whipped her with
Yeah, because
Poison
you're like
cassettes
20
and-
years older than she is, right?
Yeah, I basically don't even know her at this
I
point.
think I think I came around at a different time. I think some of your music did influence me, but I don't think that was the era.
Yeah, I think you latched on to my hip hop era more than my rock era.
Did Millerman screen freeze, or is he that disinterested?
He's very disinterested.
I think he
Wake
left.
Millerman up when you get to your Willie Nelson and
I
Conway
don't
Twitty
feel
picks.
good.
Now I
and
feel
it's
like I
not
need to
working out.
change my list.
All right, so we will move on from the negative questions and move into a positive direction. What band do you think is underappreciated?
So I think these are going to get into some deep cuts that no one's really going to like. So underappreciated, I went with this band called Generationals. They've been around for about a decade. No one really knows who they are. They've had maybe 8 albums. They're amazing live. They're nice people, and nobody knows who they are. They've been on several soundtracks too.
I've never heard of them. What genre of music is this? Is this
Like
like
indie pop.
Bob? Have you ever heard of the Generationals?
I have not, but I'm very curious. They sound like they're worth checking out.
Yeah, this is right up your alley. Bob loves indie music and being the first to hear some obscure band that no one's
Check
ever
out his
heard of.
podcast, Bend and Scoop.
Well, it doesn't exist anymore, but old
Posthumously
episodes
check out
are-
Bob's old podcast, Bend and Scoop, where he highlighted a lot of independent music. Okay, so the Generationals is your pick for underappreciated. Since nobody's heard of them, I guess you put them in the
We'll
right
move along.
category. So moving on to the next one, band that I love.
Okay, so this is kind of going in between band I love and guilty pleasure. I picked Electric Six.
Fire in the disco.
I've seen them several times. I love the band, and it's more of the opposite of the Disturbed story because they've been super nice to me. The band, the lead singer Dick Valentine.
Man, my sister has a lot of backstage activity going on with all of these bands.
Yeah, Dick Valentine is amazing. He's super nice. He friend requested my husband, and my husband denied him.
Why does he
didn't know-
hate Electric Six?
He didn't know who it was. Isaac always makes friends with everybody, which I feel like Isaac probably should have been in my spot right now because
Isaac's her husband, by the way.
He's very entertaining.
Demands acoustic six at all times. He does not like electric six.
How many does Electric Six have? Like
I guess
3?
6.
You're like Gay Bar and
Yeah, Danger.
what was their
Danger,
other
High
big hit?
Voltage.
Yeah, Danger, High Voltage, which I think is like the opening of the Circus Soroy show.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is. And that song is good shtick.
Yeah, I mean, they're funny, they're fun-loving, they're a good band, they're nice.
Okay,
I'm
but
going
you really
with
love
mine.
them just because they were nice to you in person,
Yeah,
right? So as long as
Yeah.
somebody's
And,
nice to
I
you
mean,
in
they're
person,
a good band.
you will be a fan of their
I'll
work.
I'll follow them till the
And it's weird
the
because
end of
my
the world.
sister is the exact opposite of me when it comes to concerts. She's been to a ton of concerts, and I've really only been to the Weird Al concert and Willie Nelson in the past 10 years. All right, so you love Electric Six. Next up, what band can you listen to over and over again?
I'm going with album, and I'm going with Revolver from the Beatles.
The band would be the Beatles, but specifically the
The Revolver
Revolver
album.
album is the one that you enjoy the most.
Yeah.
Now, again, you are lucky that Gary's not here because he would tell you that the Beatles are very overrated.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Now, have you
Wrong with
watched
that.
the Beatles thing they just put on Disney Plus, that Get Back?
I started it and I was really sleepy and I fell asleep.
It's
You-
really
yeah.
long.
When did
But,
you
yeah.
get Disney
long.
Plus money? When did all this influx of
It,
cash
well,
occur?
no, it's one of the stolen ones that
It's
I'm
a shared account where
it's a
they don't
shared
know it's
account
being
that I'm not
shared.
yeah, we're broadcasting all over. So
It's 3 parts, and each part's almost like 3 hours.
That sounds like a massive
We
whip.
we watched
So
it.
out
It
on
took
that.
almost all weekend to watch it.
yeah, at 10 minutes in, I fell asleep. It's
How many
awful
hours
that
can
I
you
can't
spend
stay up.
listening to them record Yellow Submarine and Number 9 over and over again?
Number 8. Number 8. Number 8.
Okay, so that is the album and the band that you can listen to over and over again. So you think that's their best album, right?
I do.
Now, Millerman, what's your favorite Beatles album?
I'll probably go with Sergeant Pepper.
Okay, default.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the stock answer too, Sergeant Pepper.
Give me Abbey Road.
But I'm gonna go with the Bee Gees version of Sergeant Pepper.
Terrible. Bee Gees and Peter Frampton.
Now, did that album have any of those hidden messages when you play in reverse where it says Paul is dead and wake me up
I
dead
never
man
tried
or
it.
whatever?
Well, Tomorrow Never Knows is on that record, and that's a real super psychedelic. They got used in Mad Men. They made a big deal about how much it cost to license that one song.
I listened to that album during a time in high school when I had my first acid trip, so I think it all kind of makes
What?
sense.
It shocks you. It shocks you.
You're admitting to drug use in front of me? Terrible.
I mean, it's been decades. What are you gonna do? You're gonna tell mom?
Yeah, the statute of limitations has passed, but I am going to tell mom anyway. All right, next up, the band that made you fall in love with music.
Is it embarrassing to say Richie Valens in the La Bamba movie?
Yes, it is very embarrassing
No, that's
to
great.
say Lou
Los
Diamond
Lobos.
Phillips was why you fell in love with music.
It was more of Bob.
You liked Uncle Bob?
I like Bob.
Was that Esai Morales?
Yeah.
See the uncle?
It's kitty stuff. Poor Esai Morales. All he was trying to do was get a job as a cartoonist, and all of his garbage pail friends shamed him into quitting.
Hey, look at this. It's Woody Woodpecker and Buzz Buzzard. Hey, this is the real stuff. They make cartoons out of these things.
Can it jerk off? It's kitty stuff.
Finders keepers.
Basura.
I did that same mail in, draw the turtle cartoon thing and get a diploma from the Art Institute.
So you did that, and you
so,
got
so I got nothing. I related a lot to Bob.
you're related to Uncle Bob. Technically, then the band that made you fall in love with music is Los Lobos.
Yeah, giving Richie
Just
Valens
because of
music.
the one song that they did on the La
They had
Bamba soundtrack.
Framed. There was multiple songs of Richie Valens. There was Framed on there.
Oh,
there was the two.
Donna.
Oh, and Donna.
Oh, Donna.
Oh, and Donna.
Oh, Donna.
Oh, and Donna.
Oh, Donna. All right. So next up, we have the band that changed your life.
So I guess this is going to get more and more embarrassing because I'm going with the Smiths. Which I think
Bob
some people are going to hate.
No, I like Johnny Marr. I hate Morrissey.
This was during high school as well. It seemed like a lot of goth Mexican kids were really into the Smiths.
Yes.
And I think that was my
yes, that actually got brought up.
That was my
in
jam.
Yeah, like
different
especially
episode.
in LA, there's a huge following.
Of
Morrissey and the
Smith
Smiths.
gangbangers.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's weird.
Now the
Yeah,
Smiths
I-
have like one song. They're basically a one-hit wonder, right?
They had
How
multiple
soon is now,
songs.
and that's pretty much it. And Girlfriend in a Coma, and then they walk off stage.
And then- Oh.
Need Quillowbee or GTFO.
For an imaginary friend, you were really keen to get out of the house.
Ugh, that small woman was such a bore.
Oh, Maggie's the baby, and she was sleeping.
Even she knows it.
I had a Smith shirt. I was the fat Mexican kid in the Smith shirt.
So why did that change your life? What
I think
positive interaction did?
I don't know if it was positive. It did change my life. I was a little more depressed.
So it made you even more depressed by listening to their music.
But I also would think it probably exposed her to other types of music that she hadn't normally heard before.
Is that true? Or is
Yeah,
Bob
I
just
got
talking
little-
on your behalf?
Yeah, I think he's just being nice to me.
Oh, no, I'm just thinking that when I think of that category, that's kind of where it goes. In the Smiths, they didn't get played on the radio very much.
So the Smiths were the gateway drug for her to get more into depressing goth music, basically.
Exactly.
Millerman, what are your thoughts on the Smiths?
Oop.
You've heard how soon
He
is
thinks
now,
there's
right?
some
Patty
family, some country family that lives on a barn called the Smiths.
Stephanie, is it shocking that Millerman has no idea who that band even is?
I think he's heard it. He just doesn't know who the band was.
All right, so moving on, the band that surprised you.
So this is actually a band out of Dallas, Texas. The lead singer just died. The band is called Power Trip. I don't know if anybody's heard of
Oh
it.
yeah, I remember that guy died.
Yeah, I think when we did one of the deaths episodes, that person's name
It came up?
but I don't think we counted that person because nobody knew who he was.
We went to a concert in Austin. We went to Fun Fest. It was a festival. And at the end of it, we stumbled into a bar late night and Power Trip was playing. And they were amazing thrash metal. No one's heard of them. None of the people that we were with had heard of them. They had a huge following actually that were there. The energy, I'm not really a big metal fan, but just the guy's energy and the excitement of the band and the crowd, and it was amazing.
How many
For a
hits do they
band
have?
that came and went quickly, because a guy died recently, and I think they only had like 2 albums.
This sounds like something that Matt would have appreciated. I think Matt was familiar with that person that died and was disappointed that we didn't count them. Bob, do you know any of their songs?
No, but I
Millerman,
do
have
remember
you even-
hearing. I do remember hearing about the guy dying.
Well, you should check it out. If anything on the list, you should at least check that out.
All right, moving on to the band that is your guilty pleasure.
So this is actually credited to you because it goes back to you dropping me off to kindergarten in the Bronco. I'm going with
My
Cypress Hill.
Ford Bronco 2.
Were you trying to get crazy with this, eh? Don't you know I'm loco?
Like,
Yeah.
to me, that's not really a guilty pleasure. I don't think people are embarrassed to admit that they're fans of Cypress Hill, right?
I think if you're not a stoner and like you don't have a Glock, I don't think you can really say.
Which was one of their songs, Hand on the Glock.
Like you can't really say that you're a true Cypress Hill fan. I guess I don't know.
Well,
I've seen them multiple times too.
Of all of your
And-
horrible picks, this is the first one that I approve of.
Well, it's because of you.
You all right? I learned it by watching you.
That's the music that you would drop me off to kindergarten.
So I was blasting
I
Insane in
remember-
the Membrane as I was
Yeah, I
dropping you off
remember
at kindergarten.
not knowing what any of it meant. I had Black Sunday, and the first song was "I Want to Get High." I would listen to that song while I was on the swing, in the playground.
Not having any
Not-
idea what they were talking about.
Yeah, I thought it was just getting high on the swing.
Norman, you know Insane in the Membrane, right?
Insane in the membrane.
How many do Cypress Hill have?
That's pretty much it, right?
No, they've got at least 10, 15 good songs, I would say.
So one.
I don't know, Jude. Be real.
Cypress Hill was your guilty pleasure. Now we're going to get into some of the questions that are related specifically to your concert going.
I've seen Cypress Hill like 3 times, actually.
No invite?
If it's not Weird Al, I feel like you're out.
You're probably right about that. All right, so the band that you wish you had seen live, which must be a very short list since you've attended just about every concert that's come through San Antonio.
I am going to go with Rage Against the Machine.
Ooh, good
In
one.
their
That's a
prime.
good pick.
I feel like
You
there was an
weren't to-
opportunity to go when I was in high school, and I did not go because I couldn't come up with the money. And then I was working at Subway at the time.
Was it the same Subway that you got held up at gunpoint in the middle of the night?
That didn't
I thought
happen to
you-
me.
Oh,
That
or-
happened to somebody else at the same Subway. That didn't happen
Oh,
to me.
okay. I'm getting the story confused.
The owner of the one that I started at, he got shot in the parking lot at Tiffany's. And it was a drug
Tiffany's
deal
the
going
jewelry
bad.
store?
No, Tiffany's the strip club that was on Wurzbach.
Is
that
that the
one.
one where you saw Frank Brakowski and
And Charlie Sheen?
and Charlie
No, that
Sheen?
was Ziegfeld. That's a really good pick. And I actually specifically the tour they did with Beastie Boys, that would be very high on my list too.
Are they technically broken up?
No, they got back together and COVID busted up when they were going to do a big reunion tour.
I feel like I would like to see Zach De La Rocha with Run the Jewels, but I don't know if I would want to see Rage Against the Machine now.
Junior,
Why?
would
'Cause their
Rage and
time has
Beastie
passed?
Boys be a solid double bill? How many do they have between them? About 50?
Yeah, 45, 50 sounds reasonable. But it's more Beastie Boys than Rage Against the Machine.
It is, but the Rage ones are pretty solid.
Rage probably has like 10 to 15.
Yeah.
And the Beastie Boys probably 30 to 35, somewhere in that range. Now, Millerman,
Millerman is out on Beastie
Millerman
Boys.
thought that the Beastie Boys have like 3.
If it's more than 3, I'm shocked. And if it's more than Bulls on Parade, I'm shocked.
He thinks Rage Against the Machine has 1.
Dude, sleep
you're
on
out on
fire? Come on, Millerman.
Don't even know that.
Gorilla Radio? You've turned on that?
Yeah, Gorilla Radio, dude.
You keep saying names like I'm going to know the wrong audience here.
Renegades
I'm so
of
sorry.
Funk? Come on,
Yeah,
Millerman.
I'm
their
sorry
cover
that
of
they brought
Renegades
me
of
on
Funk.
for this episode. I apologize for their lack of forethought here.
No, it's good shtick to see the bewilderment in your face as my sister rattles off her picks.
At least
it's
I know.
worth it
At
for
least
that.
I know Rage Against the Machine, Tom Morello, stuff like that. Like I know that.
Stephanie, how many do the Beastie Boys have?
High 20s?
See, that's my influence rubbing off on
No,
her.
License to Ill is the only album that counts. Anything?
No, Millerman.
Paul's
after that-
Boutique? From a critic standpoint, that's considered their best album. right?
Hello,
Paul's
Nasty?
Boutique. Yeah, you turn on Hello Nasty.
Brass
That's the one that
Monkey?
has
Again.
Intergalactic.
No, hey, ladies on Paul's Boutique. Come on, dude.
Bob, do you think Rhymin' and Stealin' is the Beastie Boys' best song on the License to Ill album?
I don't know about best, but Ali Bob and the 40 Thieves is solid karaoke bit.
All right, so I don't know how this became a Beastie Boys debate.
It was
Rage Against the Machine is your band you wish you had seen live, even though you can see them at any point when they start touring again because they're not broken up. But
I
because
think-
you didn't see them in that time frame, you've turned on them.
Yeah.
You've turned on one of the icons of your youth.
And I think COVID, I don't know if I'm ever going to go to a concert again.
So you wouldn't go to like South by Southwest or ACL anymore?
No.
Did you
I
ever
don't
go to
know.
those?
I went to the free shows and they had spillover into San Antonio.
All right. So the last question we have, the great band to see live.
I'm going to go with Marty Robbins.
Wow.
Is that a
was a
country
shocking
name?
answer.
That was amazing right there. Thank you.
I was perking him up.
That
I don't
gets
even
you
know
a
who that
golf
is.
clap.
Is that
El
right there?
Paso? Come on,
Is that
Junior.
Red Dirt?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
down in the old Texas town of El Paso. That's
I fell
Marty
in
Robbins.
love with a Mexican girl.
Down in the old Texas town of El Paso. That's
I fell
Marty
in love
Robbins.
with the Mexican girl.
Yeah, and he sang the song they used at the end of Breaking Bad.
Okay, I didn't know that's.
No,
who
I'm just
actually sang
kidding.
that.
I've never seen them.
He was big in like the 60s, Junior.
All right, so that was not your real.
That was
answer
not. I
then.
was just trying to throw him a bone.
No, that was funny. I
I
like
feel he's just bored with me here.
Can I
Okay,
can I
you-
guess
you can
because
guess.
there's one band that you have not mentioned that I know you love and you actually brought them up earlier today. Is it Depeche Mode?
No.
You've turned on
Depeche
Depeche
didn't
Mode?
even make the. I don't. There was a lot of contenders, and a lot of these were panic picks. I think that was kind of a contender against the Smiths because that was the same.
Boy,
time
you made the
period.
bad decision, Coach.
Yeah, I don't
Should've
know.
gone
I
with
even had.
Depeche
There's
Mode there.
actually a painting there that I did of Dave Gahan in that room. The painting
That's
that I
supposed to be the
did.
lead singer of Depeche
Yeah,
Mode.
that's Dave Gahan.
Oh yeah, no, that's actually really good. Millerman, do you know any Depeche Mode?
Listen,
Do you know Personal Jesus?
Now that you say that, sure.
What about all I ever wanted, all I ever needed?
Yeah,
Is
that's a good one.
here
That's a good
in
one.
my arms. Words are very unnecessary.
Yeah.
All I ever wanted, all I ever needed.
Yeah,
Is
that's a good
here in my arms. Words are very unnecessary.
Yeah.
How about
Yeah,
this one,
also
Millerman?
good.
How about
How about people are people, so why
Why
can't you
should it
be?
be?
You and
you and
I
I should get
can't get along so
awfully.
awfully. People are people, so why
Why
can't
should
you
it
be?
be?
You and
You and
I
I should
can't get along so awfully.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, see, they got a lot of big hits.
I did get an A on that painting, so
How many people actually knew who that was supposed to be
the art teacher,
after you told them?
Mr. Peavy, was the only fan.
Did we ever actually get your answer?
No, you
band
just said. I guess.
Yeah,
I'll go
we
with
got
Depeche Mode.
sidetracked on Depeche Mode because now
Well,
apparently
it
you
was
hate
a
Depeche
tie,
Mode.
so it was between that and I ultimately went with Metallica.
Oh, very nice.
That
Now,
was,
I would love to see Metallica. In fact, Metallica was in Arlington this past weekend, kicking off some kind of MMA deal that you got the MMA fights and then you got a full Metallica concert right after.
So you would have gone if you were in town?
Yeah, if I would have seen if anybody wanted to go. I don't think I would have gone by myself. To go.
Millerman, would you have been in on Metallica?
I have actually seen Metallica. Thank you very much.
You
Yes,
do not hate Metallica like you hate all of my sister's other picks.
that is correct.
Yay! I got one.
There are no Marty Robbins, but
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Millerman, how many do Metallica have?
12.
that sounds about right.
Conservatively, between 15 and 20 sounds reasonable. Stephanie,
mean-
how many do you think Metallica has?
I think about that many. I think
15 to
too,
20?
the reason why I picked it is it was a perfect storm of free tickets and good seats and amazing audio and pyrotechnics, and I knew all the songs. So
Were you at the concert where the lead singer blew his face off?
no,
James Hetfield?
unfortunately.
Blew his face off.
Yeah, there were some pyrotechnics that went haywire. He got his face burned.
Oh, so it was all Michael
Michael
Jackson'd
Jackson.
up?
Yeah, and actually, it was behind the music or something where they were on tour with Guns N' Roses, and during the Metallica concert, they had some kind of pyrotechnic accident where his face got burned, and they had to stop the show, right? And Guns N' Roses comes out. Axl Rose was like drunk or something, and they did only a couple of songs, and then he ran off stage, and they canceled the show, and there was some gigantic riot at the arena because they basically got screwed out of 2 shows. It's a very famous story, I believe. Yeah,
When
that
you
was
said
one
he
of the
blew
reasons.
his head off on stage, I thought you meant he Bud Dwyer.
He didn't Bud Dwyer or anything.
That's why I say, hey man, nice shot.
I mean, he's still alive. I mean, there was a flamethrower that was taken to his cheek. Like, if you see him now, he has like a scar on
He's
the
all
side of his
Noriega'd
face.
up.
Yeah, and I think he tries to cover it with a beard. But anyway, so you saw Metallica, and they blew you away with how good they were.
Yeah, and it was free.
They almost fall into that 80s hair metal genre that you hate. So
I
I'm
know.
surprised
Yeah,
that you would say that.
but it's not really what I was talking about.
Yeah, because Metallica never got all dressed up and put makeup on, like all twisted
Yeah,
sistered
it
up or
wasn't the
anything.
cheesy side of hair metal.
Bob, you said they have 12. Can you name 12 Metallica songs?
Nothing else matters. One, Enter Sandman, Master of Puppets, and the rest.
That's it? That's as far as you go?
I mean, if I thought about it, I might be able to squeeze a couple more out.
Millerman, how did you get into Metallica since you're all countryed up?
Like your sister, I used to work in that record store. So,
Oh, I didn't know you had a high fidelity background like my sister did.
oh yeah, I was definitely the Jack Black of my store.
My
for
goodness.
sure.
Our
I think we just
podcast.
veered into different areas of music, though.
Well, Millerman started country because his dad was like a country music DJ.
Right.
And actually, it's a very famous story for him. Willie Nelson was at his baptism and held Millermun up.
It was at the 4th of July picnic, and he held him up like the Lion King. So we call him Redneck Simba because Willie Nelson held up baby Millermun in front of the crowd at the 4th of July picnic.
Unlike some of their stories, that part is true. That one actually did happen. Yeah, in 91, you couldn't get away from Metallica when the Black album, Enter Sandman, Nothing Else Matters. I mean, just all those. It was huge, and it was big.
Unforgiven. Is that one of the big hits,
I know.
Bob?
Unforgiven. Add that to my list.
I saw them in 92 or 93 during that tour. I want to say it was at
Texas Jam.
No, Texas Jam was always at the Cotton Bowl.
I don't remember where, but it was during that tour.
Millermun, do you feel that the Black Album was their peak and they kind of sold out after that? A lot of people think that everything went downhill for them after that album. Like
they certainly had no bigger album.
Like, wasn't And Justice for All a big record?
But that was before the Black Album.
You're Out on Saint Anger, Jr. Is that a spare album?
Well, I think what happened was they got popular, and then all of a sudden James Hetfield decided he wanted to take singing seriously, and it made the songs worse. Instead of just him screaming,
so he needed growling and screaming at all times.
Yeah, I think that was peak Metallica.
So he was better when he was all American Lemmy'd up.
Absolutely. I think that was their peak.
Everybody turned on Lars.
Everybody turned on Lars
because
for killing Napster.
Yeah, that C-Suck shut down Napster.
It wasn't all of your downloading that did it. It was Lars that killed Napster.
Yes.
Everybody turned on him. I was actually watching, was it the 2000 VMAs for some reason? I was going down the YouTube rabbit hole of watching old VMAs, and they actually brought the guy from Napster on, and he was wearing the Metallica shirt, and then they cut to Lars Ulrich, and he was all pissed off, and everybody was booing him, and it was sad times.
Ladies and gentlemen, creator of Napster, Sean Fanning. Nice shirt.
Oh, you know what else counts? Give me food, give me fries.
That's post the Black Album.
That sounds like a Weird Al parody version of that song. Give me food, give me fries.
Give me salad on the side.
Give me food, give me fries.
Give me salad on the side.
All right. So, of your 11 answers, I think I approved of maybe 2 of them.
That means she did it right.
Do you guys approve of her list?
Yeah, because there's a couple that I want to go check out that I didn't know about.
Like Power Trip.
Power Trip, yeah, but the one she mentioned early up front, the
Generationalists.
The Generationists.
Is that very similar to Voices of God or whatever that band is?
What, Guided by Voices?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
Are you familiar with Guided by Voices, Stephanie?
Yeah, it's nothing like that.
Is it because Guided by Voices sucks?
Is that somebody's favorite?
Not my favorite, but I always try to tell Junior to listen to some of them, and he hates them. They're really good live. You got to see them live. Their lead singer is like a 60-year-old beer gut white dude that does high kicks on stage and drinks beer the whole show.
You're really selling this.
It's a spectacle. You've got to see it. It's incredible.
All right. Well, Stephanie, it was great having you on, even though all of your selections sucked. If anybody wants to give you feedback on your musical choices, how can they reach you?
Oh no, I don't want hate mail. I'll have them send it to you, and you can pass it along to me.
All right. Well, if you have any feedback for my sister's horrendous selections, you can send it to @howmanypodcast on Twitter. You can email us howmanypodcasts@gmail.com. You can listen to any of our older episodes at the howmanypodcast.com website. We also have a YouTube channel. Just search How Many Podcasts. Lots of different ways to get a hold of us. Bob, if anybody wants to reach you, how can they?
On Twitter and Instagram @lukewarmtallboy.
Millermun, how can they reach you?
Twitter and Instagram @blindnello.
Again, thank you for being on, Stephanie. Maybe next time we can have Isaac on. He could tell us all the different ways he can fit Megadeth into this list.
Thank you for hanging out.
Yeah, thank you everybody for
being on.
listening. Have a good one, guys.
Like sands through the hourglass, these are the bands of your life.